Lucifer Season 5 Part 2. And this, let's be honest, when it comes to Season 5 of this show, it's going to be an interesting one to talk about. Mainly because of how this season was originally meant to be the final season, and Netflix says, hey, can we get another one? They said yes, so Season 6 will be the final season. But this was originally how they were going to go out. And watching it at the end, seeing the whole story unfold and how things were planned out and all that kind of stuff, I have to say that I am grateful that we're getting another season. Like, here's the thing, this second half, like, clearly I enjoy part 1 more than part 2. There's the first half of part 2 are really well done episodes, which I will explore later. But at the last half, it just felt like it was kind of focusing. It didn't really pick as its pace. There was some weird final episode kind of things and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, if this was a final season, I'll be like, really? That's how you want to go out? Like, the stuff I was really digging was all the stuff with God. All the stuff with God, the family dynamic, the struggle between father and son, definitely between, God and Lucifer. And how you can tell God is trying to be, like, he realizes he has messed up. So what he's trying to do is recommend and trying to fix his wrongs and have end on a good footing as far as you can go. And I just really enjoy all of that. The responsible family, the relationships between the brothers, between Lucifer and Michael and Megadil and all that. I really dug all that stuff. And surprisingly, I enjoyed the musical episode. If you don't know, episode 10, I believe, is the musical episode. And they find a way to make it work. They find a way, because here's the thing: if this was Glee, it would be like, yeah, fine. People were singing and dancing. They were doing that in episode 1 of the 5 seconds out in the first episode. But in a show like Lucifer, where that's not a thing, and you're gonna have an episode where people are singing and dancing, you need to find some way and have a reason behind it, and they find a way. They actually find a way, and all the songs, some of them were like, okay. There's a couple of songs that I was like, yep, I'm happy to sing, happy to bump to the beats of Another Bites of Dust. Therefore, I was going to see the Devil and God singing to Land Wizard Wa. Therefore, I would see that day. But, and I never thought I would hear like a mismatch of, was it Let's Swab and Bad to the Bone. Like, it's a weird mashup. But yeah, anyway, the musical episode works for me. All that. But the problem is with the second half of it is after a certain thing happens, in the end of episode 3 or the end of episode 4, it kind of focuses on certain things, and also with the other characters outside of Lucifer and outside God and the main plot, it kind of head-toed on certain things and certain elements that happened in part 1 that they kind of dust over. That was kind of like, okay, you're not going to dive into it, you're just going to do the whole thing of like, yeah, we mentioned, now we can move on. And they do touch certain things that happen in the last episode of part 1 that they were just like, oh yeah, we'll mention occasionally, like there's a therapy scene, but we'll just pass through that one. But here's and you have like an episode that was very oddly, and it didn't. The problem was like when you had like that a bit of information, they kind of just like cherry picked and kind of just switch it on. It felt like they had like 14 episodes planned, and they had to fill like an extra 2 episodes, and it just naturally didn't really felt needed for it with 5 and 6. No, it's set like this moment and this moment and this moment and this moment. But when we hit the final episode, whoo! Here's the thing: if that was the final episode, I'll be like, God damn, that was a bad way to go out. Like the setup wasn't bad, but then you have like the climax side of it, and how they handled the climax was like it falls under a lot of categories. Like one of the complaints that I had with like Rise of Skywalker, the last Star Wars movie, was that there was a lot of this person's dead, no they're not. This person lost his arm, no he grew back. That person lost his memory, no he got it back. You know, and in the final episode of the season, that happens. There's a lot of this person dies, no they come back to life. This happens, no, everything's back okay. It's like trying to have a dramatic, epic final way to go out originally, but at the same time trying to have the fairy tale ending. And it just comes across as like just badly done and makes me roll my eyes most of the time. The big climax between Michael and Lucifer, at the beginning it kind of worked, and then it kind of just switched too far, and it felt like, it felt like this episode could easily have been shortened. I know it's like 53 minutes long, but it's like, it should easily be like, maybe a 48-minute episode. But, yeah, it's just, that final episode did not work for me with the climax of it. Just felt very washed and just felt very like thrown together and all that. So it's not, I'll say a mixed second half. A strong first half with part 1, and with a couple of the episodes of part 2 that kind of drifts apart really.